Let's see here. The Associated Press, APnews.com. Let's see what they have to say today on March 11th, 2020. Let's see what they have to say today about this coronavirus and determine whether or not the media is pushing this ideology that this is a new virus. Associated Press by Marilyn Mascioni. She says, tests show new virus lives on some surfaces for up to 3 days. And you see there's a guy wiping down something that they're supposed to be doing in the first place. Disinfecting, sanitizing, and doing wipe downs. He's actually supposed to have his face covered so he's not discharging particles, okay, or aerosols out of his own mouth and nose, etc., while he's doing sanitary work. So this article says the new coronavirus can live in the air for several hours and on some surfaces for as long as 2 to 3 days. Tests by U.S. government and other scientists have found. Their work published Wednesday, so we're speaking in terms of right now, Wednesday, March 11th, 2020. Their work published Wednesday doesn't prove that anyone has been infected through breathing it from the air or by touching contaminated surfaces, researchers stress. We're not by any way saying there is aerosolized transmission of the virus, but this work shows that the virus stays viable for long periods in those conditions. So it's theoretically possible, said study leader Neelet J. Van Doremelen at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Since emerging in China late last year, the new virus has infected more than 120,000 people worldwide and caused more than 4,300 deaths, far more than the 2003 SARS outbreak caused by a genetically similar virus. A genetically similar virus means that the original molecular structure as well as the cellular structure of this virus is the same. It comes from the same point of origination. However, the virus itself that is going on right now, this coronavirus is incubated, okay? Just like the other viruses have been incubated. This one has been incubated, and because it's incubated and then it's re-released or it's put out again, it's taking advantage of people when they're in their weakest hours. So who's dying first? The people that are already sickly, and they are also under some form of extended health proxy. Okay? So this is a genetically similar virus. The coronavirus is the same and or is genetically similar to SARS and MERS. You've seen that in the definitions. So why would they call this new? It's not new. The new virus is not a new virus, okay? For the study, researchers used a nebulizer device to put samples of the new virus into the air. So you see what's going on. Imitating what might happen if an infected person coughed or made the virus airborne some other way. They found that viable virus could be detected up to 3 hours later in the air, up to 4 hours on copper, up to 24 hours on cardboard, and up to 2 to 3 days on plastic and stainless steel. Similar results were obtained from tests they did on the virus that caused the 2003 SARS outbreak. So differences in durability of the viruses do not account for how much more widely the new one has spread, researchers say. This is not new. They've already had these things in place, incubated, ready to discharge. Okay? That's what they call running tests. Look at the video I put up about Bill Gates with the coronavirus and 10 million deaths and the $1 trillion of revenue that this thing is causing, okay, with the Affordable Care Act. All right? Reference that video, that lesson. You will see in that lesson, Bill Gates clearly says that they test these viruses, okay? They take them and bring them into certain places in Nigeria, and they test them in those areas, okay? They test the Zika virus in South America. They test the Ebola virus in Liberia and Nigeria and other places in the west coast of Africa. They killed, they murdered, they slaughtered 11,000 people, okay, by running these tests. Let's continue here. The tests were done at the National Institutes of Health's Rocky Mountain Lab in Hamilton, Montana, by scientists from the National Institute of Health, Princeton University, and the University of California, Los Angeles, with funding from the U.S. government and the National Science Foundation. The findings have not been reviewed by other scientists yet and were posted on a site where researchers can quickly share their work before publication. Okay? So you have to get this in your psyche of understanding. This stuff they call an outbreak, this stuff they call a new virus, is not new. They've been testing it. There's no way you could say this is new and you've already put tests in the air. Okay, this is something that you have to wrap your head around. These tactics that are taking place right now to wipe out volumes of humanity, all right? This is not new information. These are not new viruses. These are very well-planned bioterrorist attacks, bioterrorist activity, even homeland and foreign bioterrorism. Okay? This is World War III. You're in it. Okay? Let me show you something. You see here on the CNBC.com 2017 website, all right? I'm going to show you something. You see, it says getting the flu can wreak havoc on your finances. This was published on Monday, October 30th, 2017 by Sarah O'Brien. All right? The key points: fewer than half of adults, 43.3%, got a vaccine in the 2015 to 2016 flu season. So we're talking 3 to 5 years ago. Okay? Less than 50% of the adult population in this country obtained a flu vaccine. All right? At the same time, an estimated 24.5 million people were stricken with the flu. All right? So now you see the deception? No, some of you don't get it. All right? Let me help you see what the deception is. The deception is a virus, influenza. A flu virus is a flu virus, come what may. Regardless of what strand it is, it's the same thing. It comes from the same point of origin. Okay? It depends on your immune system and your muscular capacity of how you can cope with it. All right? If you have a pre-existing sickness, then the basic flu that they described as something very simple, that's not going to kill you. That will also kill you. Let me explain something to y'all, man. I know people that are in their graves right now between 2015 and 2019. All right? Between that 4-year period, I know multiple people that died from the flu. The same exact symptoms as the coronavirus. I know people. I can give you their names, and I can pull up their obituaries, and I can probably obtain their medical record of the cause of death, because it was defined that the person died because of the flu. So the coronavirus flu, or influenza, or whatever this describing this virus to be, it is of the same exact mixture of sorcery that all of these other viruses are germinated from. Okay, you see, I'm serious. I know people that are in their graves. They're my age, some younger, some older. They died right here in Springfield, Massachusetts. They are dead right now in Oak Grove Cemetery in Springfield, Massachusetts, because of this same exact coronavirus type of flu, or this coronavirus behavior. Let's see if I'm wrong. 2015-2016 flu season. At the same time, an estimated 24.5 million people were stricken with the flu. How many people do you think are stricken with this flu right now in this country? You think it's only it's only a few thousand people since it traveled from China to America, right? Come on, you guys. Let's snap out of it. All right. It says it resulted in 11 million medical visits and 308,000 hospitalizations and 12,000 deaths. All right. So you got 12,000 people, okay, that will be on record for death because of this virus, the flu. All right. Now, do not try and bicker without researching, because I'm going to show you something. This is the reason why this flu behavior is going on. I'm telling you, this stuff makes a lot of money. This stuff is very profitable. It's more profitable than real estate. And real estate has been known in this country since the formation of the so-called United States of America. Owning real estate, being in the real estate business, is the most profitable business that you will ever put your hands in, or you will ever engage in. You will always be able to become a success in real estate. Some way, somehow, you'll get some kind of an advantage in life by way of real estate. Well, this potion of sorcery is worth more than real estate. If you can get your hands in the investments of vaccines, in the investments of the vaccination process, somewhere, somehow, get your hands involved in the flu pandemic situation from an economical aspect. Look at the next bullet, the key point. It says the annual direct cost for hospitalizations and outpatient visits is an estimated $10.4 billion. You see that? $10.4 billion. All right. That's the annual direct cost. That means that is a very accurate number of costs for hospitalization and outpatient visits in America, in this whole country. $10.4 billion during the so-called flu season. All right. And that's with an estimated 24.5 million people that are stricken with the flu, with 11 million medical visits, 308,000 hospitalizations, and 12,000 deaths. All right. So let's put it in perspective. The most valuable businesses you should be pursuing, or you could be pursuing, or making an investment is, it should be in this vaccination business, right? In the flu business. Is very valuable, profitable. $10.4 billion is a very small number. $10.4 billion is like it's like 10.4 cents on the dollar. Okay? Some of you are not even aware of the trillions of dollars that's moved around in this economy per minute. All right? Per minute. You look at our people today and you see that some of them make it to become millionaires, or you see them in entertainment, comedy, and sports and all of that. And they're sitting on hundreds of millions or some millions, or some of them make it to $1 billion. That's nothing compared to these elites. All right? That's chump change. Okay? Very much chump change. It's like pennies. So let's continue here and see how this works. Again, I know people that are in their graves right now because of the flu. All right? Young people. Okay? Young people that were in their 40s. Some were in their 50s and 60s and 70s. They had what they call pre-existing illnesses, pre-existing conditions. All right. This is the reason why insurance companies were rejecting people with pre-existing illnesses. So therefore, you had the Affordable Care Act. And when you read the books about the trillions of dollars that the Affordable Care Act began to recapture, all right, by way of taxing the elite, that's the reason why Donald Trump said that one of the first things he was going to do was get rid of the Affordable Care Act, because people that have billions of dollars or have billionaire status, they actually have to contribute into the Affordable Care Act regardless of how many employees they do or do not have. All right? So let's continue. This reads, there's something even scarier than ghosts and goblins lurking around the corner. And it's the flu. Every year around this time, the ever-evolving influenza virus begins descending upon the northern hemisphere, bringing misery to the millions of Americans who end up suffering from it. On top of the wretched physical symptoms it causes, including fever, chills, muscle aches, cough, and fatigue, the cost of getting the flu is generally greater than a dose of prevention. All right? Look right here. Yet most people apparently don't mind the risk. In the 2015-2016 flu season, just 43.3% of U.S. adults got the flu vaccine. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, for those under the age of 18, the rate was 59%. Okay? Now, I want you to understand now, a couple of the people that I know that passed away from the flu, they were sent home. All right? They went to the doctor and sat in the ER, was seen by the doctor. Some of them were given an IV and sent home. When they were sent home, the virus seemed like it went away, and then it came back even worse. They go to the hospital, and the hospital, they put the people under a medically induced coma, and the people never wake up again. Okay? That's documented here in Springfield, Massachusetts. I literally know people that have gone through or under those situations, and they are no longer here with us right now as a result of the coronavirus. All right? Let's continue reading. At the same time, an estimated 24.5 million were stricken with the flu, resulting in 11 million medical visits, 308,000 hospitalizations, and 12,000 deaths. The financial impact an estimated $10.4 billion in direct costs for hospitalizations and outpatient visits for adults. Getting the flu shot should be a no-brainer, said certified financial planner Chris Chin, wealth strategist with Insight Financial Strategies in Waltham, Massachusetts. The low or free cost of the shot is one of the great deals of everyday living, given what it can cost if you get the flu. In 2015-2016 flu season, the CDC estimates that the flu vaccine prevented about 5.1 illnesses, all right, to 5.1 to 2.5 million illnesses from the flu, all right. These were induced medical visits and 71,000 hospitalizations. The flu vaccine prevented that. Hold on a second. The flu vaccine prevented that. Get the understanding. In these flu vaccines, in these vaccinations, they put things called heavy metals in them. And in this germ warfare, this bioterrorism warfare, there are things, chemicals that they put in these vaccines that will cause you to think certain ways, cause you to act certain ways, cause you to have different things go on in your body that is not normal. All right? I'm not telling you not to get a flu vaccination, but what I'm saying is you need to ask the physician, what kind of vaccination is it? What is it made of? What are the chemicals? What are there heavy metals in it? Are there any preservatives? Okay? So you see in this graph, figure 1, seasonal flu vaccination coverage by age group and season in the United States from 2010 to 2017. That's a 7-year time span. And it shows, okay, the percentage of people that were vaccinated and the percentage of the people that were children, the percentage of the people that are adults that were vaccinated. Of course, the children were had more vaccinations than the adults because the children go to school and they're highly recommended when they go to their doctor's appointments. All right. So when they put these vaccinations in these children, that's the reason why there's a lot of behavioral issues and mental illness that results, because a lot of these flu vaccines have a lot of artificial fillers and artificial preservatives, and these things can make you more sick than the flu. All right. So I want to show you this. Let's go down to here. You see where it says the larger pharmacies, i.e. pharmacy, accept most insurance plans. Without coverage, the retail price of the shot depends on your age and recommended vaccine formulation. All right. Now we're going to talk about this money. We're going to talk about this money, the little price of real estate of a flu vaccine. At Walgreens, for instance, a shot that most adults and children would get runs $31.99 if you have no insurance. The price for this shot recommended for people 65 and older is generally $59.99. So the shot for people that are 64 years and younger is typically rounded off at $32, and 65 and older is rounded off at $60. Okay? That's what it costs to get a flu shot, even if you have insurance. If you have insurance, the insurance is the elites that own these vaccinations, that own the intellectual property of the vaccination. They get compensated for manufacturing these recipes. Okay, so it says here, if you have no insurance and the price of a shot is prohibitive, check with your local health department. Colleges and workplaces also often offer a free way to brave the needle. Most people who get influenza recover anywhere from within a few days to less than 2 weeks. Others, however, develop complications such as sinus infections, bronchitis, and pneumonia. Flu shots can be especially important for those at high risk, but they're just as important for those of us that come in contact with those people, said Laura Berry, a CFP and principal and director of wealth advisory at Bronfman Rothschild in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It could cost them a lot more. Now you see whose money behind this. We're talking trillionaires. You see, Bronfman Rothschild. You already know who the Rothschilds are. Anyone with the Rothschild name is a direct ancestor, a direct wealth ancestor to the Rothschild family that owns the world's banking systems. We're talking people that are sitting on $400 or $500 trillion. $400 and $500 trillion. Some even more than that. They have all of the wealth of the world in the back pocket, their back pocket. They own these vaccinations. They own these financial advisory companies, whereas they can dictate how much and how little and who, the when, where, and why. These people literally control world's economies. Okay? Now the next component. This is the reason why they put these viruses out there, because it stimulates trillions of dollars for them. Not billions. Not a few hundred million. We're talking hundreds of trillions of dollars. All right? So a flu shot costs $32. If it costs me $32, all right, and let's say anyone who's 50 years old and under, let's say there are 100 million people in this country that's under 50, and they're going to pay $32 for that vaccination. And let's say 50% of them actually get it. So now we're talking 25 million people, right? No, we're talking 50 million people, all right? 50 million people that's buying this vaccination, or their insurance covers it at $32 a whack. You see where the money is? Let's see if I'm wrong. Let's go down here to where where we ended this paragraph, where it says Rothschild in Milwaukee. We're going to go to this next line right here. The average daily cost of a hospital stay is $2,271. So what would you rather pay? $32 for the vaccine, or almost $2,300 to stay in the hospital for one day because you had the flu? See what I'm saying? Now, according to the Kaiser Family Foundation. Who's Kaiser or Khazarian? All right, now you know these are people, these are the elites. We're talking trillions and trillions of dollars. These people know the exact amount it's going to cost. As soon as they look you in your face, they know, all right, this person cost me, they'll be worth about $5,000 a day in the hospital. That's $5,000 a day times 7 is $35,000 a week. See that? Times 4, 4 weeks out of the month. All right. So now you're looking at $140,000 a month. $140,000 a month for a white person to be in the hospital being taken care of at the proper rates. People that are poor, or that are not of a white European Anglo ancestry, they do not provide top shelf, top quality care for you as they do for their own. Okay, so you're looking at the $2,700 hospital stay. And then it says the range is broad, from $3,368 in Oregon to $1,218 in South Dakota. Why are they running these numbers in that area? You see, they say even if you get a mild version of the flu and need only rest, over-the-counter treatments and chicken noodle soup, missing work, that also costs you. All right? So I just want you to see how these people already have the numeric breakdowns. They already know, you know, they know who doesn't have insurance, and they know who has insurance. The people that have insurance actually have they have a payout when they die. All right, but some of them have insurance clauses that says there's that you cannot. They're not going to pay for treatment for pandemics, treatment for acts of God. They're not paying for treatments that are called epidemics or certain viruses. They're not going to pay for. So that means that it's got to be paid for by who? It comes out of pocket, or the government pays for it. All right. So, you know, stop believing the hype out there. The information is already out. There's medical staff that is qualified to handle this stuff. They have OSHA. OSHA has a program of PPE in their training, which is proper protective equipment. They know how to do that. You should look it up. Look up OSHA, PPE, and understand what proper protective equipment is. Look up the OSHA, their nutrition requirements, and learn how to sanitize and wipe downs and wash hands and all of that stuff. Okay? And then on top of that, stop believing the lies that these people are putting out there saying this stuff is new. This stuff is not new. People die from the flu all the time. All right? Again, I know people. I directly know people that I could call their phone numbers. All right? And they're in their grave right now because of the flu. So I'm not sharing information with you trying to trick you into saying that you know, that you're being fooled without knowing what I'm talking about. All right. When these people were, you know, I get the message that so-and-so passed away from the flu at the hospital. And I'm like, how in the world does this person pass away from the flu and they're young? They're not old. They have strength in their body to overcome a flu. What in the world took place? And then when they tell me what happened, how the person was sent home, and then the person had a even stronger after effect, reoccurrence of the flu. And now they're saying that the coronavirus is doing the same thing. Well, they had the coronavirus back then. This is years ago. Okay? I'm not lying to you. This is proven fact.